Dean Allen here with you again. So then we're into the 70s, finally, with our walk through the years tutorials. And with it comes my absolute favorite guitar riff of all time. Funk 49, Joe Walsh and James Gang. There was no way, no how that this one was going to get overlooked as my pick for 1970. Been meaning to do a tutorial to this one for ages as well, but just never really got around to it. Plus there's loads of lessons already out there for Funk 49, but as we're walking through the years with guitar-centric tutorials, I just can't pass this one up for 1970's pick. That's it. Let's close in, learn how to play Funk 49, Joe Walsh and James Gang. All right then, Funk number 49, Joe Walsh, James Gang from 1970. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. We got our Telecaster because he played this one on a Telecaster. Before we get to the main riff of this one, the famous main riff to this one, we have that intro to deal with, right? That right there. So we're starting on the 7 of the G, nice slow full step bend. Then you're going to catch a little double stop, maybe even just the high E with your right hand ring finger on the upstroke. Just a little bar here on the 5s, right? Kind of like that. And then we drop onto the A to the B into that. So we're going to go A to the B into a full step pre-bend of the 7 of the G, release it back to the natural note, and then pull it off to 5. And when you get off to that 5, you're going to raise it a half step to the major 3rd, right? Right? And then we're into this. So this is a little bit tricky to do when you're first learning it. So you're going to take that 7 of the G, raise it a full step, right? And we're going to do kind of reverse hybrid picking. So we're grabbing mutes here on the high E, which is being muted out by the side of our index finger, right? Right there. And we're going to drop this from a full step in quarter increments until we get it back to the natural note. So little quarter step drops, right? 4 times. With a little mute between each drop, right? Kind of like that. And when you get it back to the natural note, you're going to do that. Just a little transitional lick he does before dropping into the main riff. Just pulling off 7 off to 5 off to open of the G, and then the same thing on the D. Just kind of like that, right? And then we drop into the main riff. So that is the opening. Right? Into the main riff. Right, that is the main riff. We're starting with a little bar here on the 5s of the D and the G, along with the open A. Now, Joe's one of those guitar players who likes to play this with his thumb over the top to catch the root note. They sound exactly the same if you use your thumb over the top, grabbing that A note on the 5th fret, or the open A, right? I like to use the open A because I hate doing this, right? So grab that double stop on the 5s along with the open A, hammer onto the 6 of the G. Kind of like that, right? Now there's a whole lot of chicka 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 going on in this track, a lot of mutes, right? So after you hammer onto that 6, you're going to go a down, up, mute. Then you're going to drop onto a little bar here on the 7s of the D, G, and B, strike that, back off to the bar on the 5s, hammer back onto that 6. Right, and then 4 more chicka chickas. Right, and then we're into this. So we're dropping into the bar on the 7s, this time with our index, which is a D major triad. We're going to drop into a G chord, which is a kind of a G over D, right? By dropping onto the 9 of the D and the A to the B. And you're just going to hammer into that and then back off to the bar. And then you're going to hit that again and then a couple of more mutes. Back onto the bar on the 7s, back off to the bar on the 5s, hammer back onto that 6. And then another little down up mute, and then an open A string, right? And that is the riff. Right? Nice and slow. Those mutes are integral to this riff, right? So you're going to be repeating that all throughout the first verse, twice before the vocals come in, and then 2 more times that whole riff progression during the first verse. And then we drop into this, which I guess you can call a chorus, even though there's no vocals. Initially A minor pentatonic, right? Sliding into the 7 of the D off to 5, and then 7 off to 5 off to 3 of the A, right? Then you're going to take that 3 of the A, roll it up to 3 of the low E, slide it into 5. And then you're going to do a down up mute and then hit an A power chord, right? Right, and then you're going to repeat it, but it's going to finish differently. It's going to finish with chicka chickas. So when we slide into that 5 the second time, we're not going to hit a power chord. We're going to do 4 more chicka chickas, right? Kind of like that, and repeat. Right, and then we're going to move the whole thing up 2 frets and play it the exact same way. And then right at the very end, before dropping back into the main riff, we drop into this E7 sharp 9, which is the Jimi Hendrix chord, right? 7, 6, 7, 8 of the 4 middle strings, right? Maybe get the low E in there as well, right? So that is that section. Chicka chicka. Chicka chicka, move it up. Chicka chicka chicka. And then you drop into that E7 sharp 9, and then right back to the main riff again. Right for the second verse. Second verse, same as the first. We drop back into this again. Right? Played exactly the same way the second time. And then back into the main riff for one final repeat at this point, right? And at that point, we just slide out of that. We just repeat it once at that point. And then it's just drums for like 40 or 50 seconds with like hooting and hollering and whatnot. And then when the guitars do come back in, it's a very short kind of guitar solo. It comes in with this. That right there. So we're sliding into 7 of the D string along with the open A. And we're going to hit that twice, right? And then catch a little double stop here on the 5s of the B and the high E. Right? And then we're going to rake up the strings of this bar on the 5s until you get to the G string. Little pause, and then you're going to drop it up to the 5 of the D. Kind of like that, right? And then we're going to jump up here to this. So on the 15s of the B and the high E, raise that 15 of the B a full step, grab the 15 of the high E, and then release the bend on the B. Off to 13 onto 14 of the G, right? Right back to the bar on the 7s, off to the bar on the 5s, right? A little mute before hitting that. And that is that very short little kind of solo, right? And then we're into a variation on the main riff, but we're not going to be going into the G chord. It's all going to be going on between the bar on the 5s, hammering onto that 6, and the bar on the 7s. That right there. So we're sliding into the 7 of the D and then doing a whole bunch of mutes. And then you're going to grab that bar on the 7s, off to the bar on the 5s, hammer onto the 6. And then we kind of finish it the same way we finish the main riff, dropping onto that 7s, off to the bar on the 5s, hammering onto that 6, and then grabbing that open A, right? Right, and now to finish it up, we're going to hammer onto that 6 from the bar, and then we're going to do like 3 or 4 upstroke mutes, right? And then again, back onto the 7s, off to the 5s, back to the that major 3rd, right? Right, and finish it the same way. So that's that little mid-song break there that is kind of a variation on the main riff. Right, without going into that G. And then we're back to the main riff again. Right, for the 3rd verse, and then we drop into this again. Chicka chicka. Chicka chicka. Right, and then we're back to the main riff again for 4 repeats. Right, play through that 4 times, and then we drop into the mid-song break again. And then back to the main riff again. Until the end of the track. And there you go. That is how you play Funk 49 by Joe Walsh and the James Gang from 1970. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind and helpful to my channel. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we will see you next time. Cheers.